I'd like to open the meeting. Almighty God, you have blessed us with memory, reason, and skill. Help us to use them wisely in the service of our town government. We ask this in thy holy name, amen. We'll salute the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone here in the public forum. I understand we've got a couple people. Would you like to address us first?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Danielle O'Mara. I just have some information I wanted to share with you tonight. Take about 5-10 minutes. I rarely take 5 minutes, but I'm going to try. Since I know Larry, and not know Larry, but I know that I've talked to him a couple times, and all the information is basically the same, with the exception he has a couple different forms, which would have been more based on like an agreement if your board wanted to pursue. Okay, so I work with Tobacco Free Clinton Franklin Essex. I'm the Community Engagement Program Coordinator, which basically means I work with a lot of elected officials in a lot of the different, well, 3 counties. Right now I basically have been focusing mostly on Franklin and now coming over towards Clinton. So I talk with many of you people who are sitting and hearing a lot of different programs that are out there. There are a few things that I'm going to share. There's just a couple that are most important regarding what you guys do in municipalities. The first one is what we call point of sale, which is where tobacco is sold in different stores, convenience stores, gas stations, anything where tobacco is sold. I spent a lot of time in Malone, and Route 11 obviously has quite an artery of stores that sell tobacco. Big issue there because the North Country is I should say, Franklin County is the second highest adult smoking rate, next to Hamilton County. And only because Hamilton County has a much smaller population and it just seems to come out higher. So with that in mind, we cover this area because of that reason. There are 2 initiatives that we work, 2 initiatives I'm going to talk about. One, like I said, one was point of sale. The other one was what we call tobacco-free outdoors. It is the next word I'm trying to best use. It's where municipalities are looking at making or wanting to make public places that the county owns. That would be like beaches, parks, anything that the town owns, where if they wanted to look at making that property tobacco-free. Currently, the Clean Indoor Act, which was enacted a few years ago, did not include, currently does not include e-cigarettes and vaping. I don't know if you know about that, but right now it's in the Senate where they're trying to get that to be part of, so that people can't go into public places and be smoking e-cigarettes or vaping. So right now, anybody who does have a current policy would need to update. If you don't have one, again, those are things that can happen in public places where it becomes difficult, where secondhand smoke is often an issue for people, young people, people with health issues. Anyone who's just not wanting to be breathing in secondhand smoke. I'm not sure exactly how many village beaches, little parks or things you have in this area, but those are the areas that I'm talking about. 2 things that have recently come to my attention because I work in this area. I work with Franklin County. You know the Brush to Moira area? Moira has recently done a policy where they made all of their grounds smoke-free, including their vehicles, so that there's nobody smoking cigarettes in their vehicles, you know, because they're public and then other people use them. So that's one that's really kind of moving along. The other one that's currently in the making and which always takes time is where Malone is wanting to follow suit and make all of their parks, beaches, and public areas smoke-free. So again, a lot of the data and a lot of the information that's out there is what you guys have in your folder. The black page that you have is what we have here. The average age of a new New York smoker is actually 13. I don't know if you know that, but if you ask anybody who's a smoker, chances are they started in around that area. Currently, right now, we are also working towards another, I don't know if I would say project, I guess it is, because it's 6 counties wide in the North Country. I'm going to try to remember all of them. Warren, well, Clinton, Franklin, Essex, Warren, Hamilton, and one other, I'm missing the last county, that are working together to, on what they call a T21. T21 is a tobacco initiative where they are working on changing the tobacco sales age from 18 to 21, much like where they changed the drinking age from 18 to 21, similar to that. So the other piece that I have in Larry's folder is a letter of support. If the board was interested in supporting, it's just a letter of support, it just says that you guys support the idea of raising that sales age. We would get that back at our office and then we would send it along to Albany.
Okay.
That is also something that's been worked on in the area of Franklin County. We're currently working with a team of people, and Clinton County has done very well, and I don't know if you've read about it, but there's a few things that are going on in Clinton County that are real positive in the support of raising that sales age. There are counties throughout New York who have already gone there, and it's slowly kind of making its way around New York, and hopefully down the line, and we're hoping if enough counties start making their push towards making this a county law, is that the governor may one day make it a state law, which would highly influence this, hopefully, that new smoker age. Because if there's 18-year-olds that have access, or around younger people, they have access to each other. So the higher the age is, the less access there may be, especially when you're talking about high school age or middle school age students. So those are a couple of things that I wanted to share this afternoon or this evening. I am available to anyone who might have questions beyond today. There's a lot of information and data in your folders to read up on. I know it seems probably very overwhelming, because it is to me too, but I just try to get the basics out there and let you know what we're out there to do. Anybody have any questions?
You have a copy of the letter of support in here, you think?
Yes, I did. I believe I did, and it would have been right there, this right here.
Okay.
And
Oh, yeah, I see it now.
And it would just say organization would be Champlain Town Board, and with your signature would be enough, but, or, just stating the organization and then.
We are a tobacco-free building and
That,
premises.
yeah, because is that part of Clean Indoor Act though?
And it's a board policy. Alan, if I'm correct, we all included the trucks, no smoking in the trucks.
Yeah, all the grounds, vehicles, everything.
And we have one park, up in Paris Mills Park, as far as I know, that's smoke-free also.
Do you have signage?
Yes,
Okay.
Where, at the park,
I
Alan?
got signage in the garage, but you mean in the parks or outside?
Wherever you have a policy and where it should be.
Well, in the buildings we do.
Okay. Outdoors, like posted out at
Outdoors,
parks?
no.
Okay, so.
Well, Ryan, you can take care of that up there.
The last piece here too is if you work with us on this, we're all done, we are all working with New York State, so anything that goes through us, the signage is free. So we get you connected to our policy center, and we work out what kind of signs you want, what you want them to say, and basically, any town that wants to, make their signs look better or whatever it is, we can do that together.
Would hurt to have that up there?
No, we also, not just smoke-free, but chewing tobacco also, we address that issue.
Right, and when it says tobacco-free, that's what you're including. You're including any of the chewed tobaccos, combustible kind, which is the traditional kind, the e-cigarettes and vaping. And so it covers all of it. So that's what those mean, because they're smoke-free, which is obviously when you see smoke,
Yes.
but the tobacco it covers all of the different
Okay.
kinds that are out there now.
I don't think any of us have trouble supporting that idea. I mean,
Right.
Actually, I don't even know if there's a smoker on.
There's not a smoker on board that I know of.
And that's what I hear commonly, but when it's out there in the community and you don't know how, if there is smoking going on and how it's enforced.
Less people smoke now than years ago?
Actually, in the North Country, that's not true, in the North Country, and so, yeah, the rates have gone down, but it just so happens our North Country seems to be quite high.
Okay.
And this page, or this two-pager right here, Clear the Air, this is another organization out of Albany called the Adirondack Health Institute, and they're the ones that are working with us with the T21. Their data is very up-to-date also, and they're a great website to visit as far as checking data also. The kind that we get is the real cumbersome kind that comes out of Albany with like a lot of, there's a lot of it.
Too much.
Yes, it does feel that way, but, I mean, I know that the rates are higher in our area, even though statewide they're lower, our area seems to have had a concentration of it. And believe it or not, among young women. Young women, which are those childbearing years, and low income. Because big tobacco targets low income areas. And maybe that's why the North Country gets targeted so well, I don't know.
They're the least ones that can afford it, I would think.
Exactly, but addiction is addiction.
Well, I've had people tell me they wish they never started because they can't quit for some reason.
Yeah.
We've tried many, many times.
It's, the amount of chemicals that are in one cigarette is amazing.
Okay,
So if you want any, like I said, if you wanted to update the signage, if you wanted to go, work on that together, I'd be more than glad to come back. I can stay in touch with you, Larry, also, and anybody else who'd like to see what kind of wording you wanted to put together. I don't actually do it, we move it through to the policy center, and they help work on the words, the wording. So,
where does the letter of support go to? To you?
to me,
Okay. Which card?
yep, got my card.
Okay. I'll ask during the business
Okay,
portion of the meeting,
sure,
it will be approved.
yeah, that would be wonderful. We always appreciate the support.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa. You're the only ones here, so I think it's gonna be you next.
Well, we've already picked up the conversation about 15 minutes before the meeting. It's about the bill that we're being charged every 3 months for this new 30-year. I'm not paying it anymore, plain and simple, done. I won't pay it. Come on my property, shut my water off, I'll cut your feet off, plain and simple. That's it. I'm done paying for water that we can't drink in the first place. But I'm paying for water that we shouldn't be paying for. It was something that was brought upon us because of the illegal dumping.
I understand that.
We are totally separate from any of the other town or village water. We're just the Ridge Road. I'm not paying for it. The village is not,
You're speaking of the quarterly charge?
no, I'm talking the new charge.
Can you tell me where your property is? I know what you're talking about.
I'm on the Ridge Road in Champlain.
I know where the Ridge Road is, but does that make a difference how far out it is or something?
Well, you know where.
Well, there's only, how many houses is there on the Ridge Road?
She's in the landfill district, Clark.
What's that?
The
You know where
landfill.
Cast Iron Road is going to the landfill, going towards Champlain up on the hill there, 5, 6 houses up maybe, right?
Right here, the road that goes down to the landfill.
Yes.
I'll tell you what,
There's 22 people in the landfill district.
you wanted to,
I don't know if you're aware, but our wells were closed on us because there was illegal dumping by Wyeth and Harris Graphics and a few other companies, which contaminated our wells.
Okay.
So we got forced to close our wells. They came and they filled them with cement and forced us with the town, or the village water. So now we're paying for something that we shouldn't be paying for because we didn't ask for our wells to be contaminated.
But that line out the Ridge Road was put in before the current water project was going on.
Exactly. So we're pre-existing. It was put in 20 years ago, and only for that purpose.
All right?
The village is not charging anybody that's pre-existing. Only new customers that get that charge, that add-on. Why should we on the Ridge Road have to keep paying more? I am not paying for 30 years for that water. There's no way. No way. I'm paying enough for the water, which I feel I shouldn't even be paying for in the first place.
I understand. I understand your predicament, whatever you want to call it, and your feelings. We do have something coming on the board tonight pertaining to the quarterly charge, am I correct, Julie? And how much is that? They're different in different districts, I know
Yeah, it
that.
depends what district you're in, the service
And how much
charge.
is hers?
Hers is $60 every quarter,
Every quarter. That, I expect, am I correct?
if the board approves it.
If the board approves that tonight, that's going to be eliminated.
Now, the other bill's gonna be eliminated too. The other bill's gonna be eliminated too. I've talked to everybody on the road. Everybody on the road, and none of us are gonna pay. So the next time that bill comes in, we are not paying.
So it's your position that you should not be paying anything for
Exactly.
any water, even though you
But
use water?
I will continue paying for the water
What you're using.
that we're using. I don't have a problem with that because we have no choice. If we don't pay for it, they say we're gonna shut their water
We
off.
have to pay for the
And
hookup.
we can't drill another well.
Right.
But I'm not paying for somebody else down here on Route 11 for 30 years.
Service road.
And the West Service Road and all over the place. Not when it was brought upon us. You know what I'm saying? We didn't ask for it. So, I'm not paying, the village does not charge, I went to the village, I talked with you outside, Larry, about 2 months ago when I paid my bill.
Okay, the village does charge,
Yes, anybody that's new.
but they raised their rates to cover the EDU charges.
No, they didn't. They showed me everything.
Well, that was my understanding.
No, that's, you're wrong.
Okay, I can only tell you what I know.
That EDU charge is what, 113 every 3 months?
And they don't pay that.
That is correct.
Yeah.
I do expect that to drop. I cannot promise you.
Oh, no, I'm not waiting 30 years for it to drop. I'm telling you, I'm not paying it.
It should be dropping next
I
year.
understand.
No.
Okay, I understand. Let me tell you what I know, okay? I expect that $60 every 3 months is gonna be eliminated from everybody. Some other districts are even more, am I correct, Julie?
Yes,
Okay. Your EDU charges is a state law that we have to charge so much per unit.
Not if you're pre-existing. I've already went to the village. If you are pre-existing, you do not have to charge us. No. I've been to the village.
But the village has nothing to do with the town as far as water usage, okay? We buy our water from the village of Champlain.
I
Exactly.
thought it was all one now.
You're supposed to,
Outside of the village, the village takes care of their own billing, their own water treatment plant, their own pipelines and everything, okay? That's separate
Okay.
from what the town does.
and we're totally different from everything else too, because we are just the landfill district. We are not part of any of the other water districts.
Now you-
We are the landfill district.
No, that's not true anymore.
That is, not now, but that's the way it was, but you changed that. But that's not gonna get changed.
Okay. I will check with the engineers and the attorney on what we've done in the past, which we are legally obligated to do. If you do not pay, you...
Shut my water off, I'll drill a well. Shut my water off, I will drill a well. I'm done, I am done. I'm telling you, I'm done. I've dealt with this for how many years?
Okay.
How many years have I been here?
You said you're willing to pay for the water.
Exactly. I am not paying that charge, no.
How do you expect us to maintain that pipe on that road?
You're charging me $60 every third quarter. Leave it there, I don't care.
We're not doing that anymore. I just told you, we don't expect to be doing that anymore.
I don't care, I'm still not paying you $113 on 2 properties every 3 months. No, there's no way. I'm not doing it,
Okay.
plain and simple.
I understand.
And that-
Leave us the way we were, I don't care, but I am not paying this $113.
It's a decision you'll have to make, but we're trying to keep it as low as we can. We really are. And we're trying to bring water to more areas of the town.
And I'm not paying for that. I don't care where you bring the water to. What I'm saying is, and you guys don't understand because you don't live there. We had wells. Okay? How would you feel if all of a sudden the town walks up and the state walks up and says, we're filling in that with cement tomorrow. You're gonna start paying for town water.
The
Because
town-
we let contamination get into the landfill.
The town didn't.
That shouldn't have been brought upon us at all. We shouldn't be paying at all for any water. We did not contaminate the water.
New York State came in and.
Then that's
told
something you should have
the
fought with
town-
you in New York State. You're the town.
We did.
Okay, if you didn't,
we
that's,
paid- we
okay,
paid a
but
lot
you
of
still put
money.
the burden on us, the Ridge Road. 22 people on the Ridge Road got the burden of it.
No, the state said that any contamination from that landfill site had to be, the wells had to be shut off, and people were not allowed to use their wells anymore.
That's what
That was
isn't
from-
that what I just said?
But that was from New York State. That wasn't from the town. New York State told us we had
And
to
the
do
town
that.
went along with it.
The town fought, again, the town fought it in court. We hired a lawyer from New York City. And after the first few $1,000s, New York State kept saying, you know what?
Yeah, you
We
gave
can
up
do
because
this.
Wyatt paid for everything. And don't tell me they didn't. I have the figures.
How much
Wyatt
did
paid for
Polite-
all that stuff on that road.
How much did
Plus,
Polite pay for it?
you know what? That's up to you. You didn't
No,
sue them.
New
You
York
didn't sue
State-
Harris Graphics. You went after, they went after
We
Wyatt.
didn't sue
Wyatt
anybody.
paid their part.
New York State went after.
Okay, then
And
go
when
after
they
the other
didn't
ones.
pay,
Go after the
basically,
other ones. Why
when
should we
they-
have to keep
When they
paying?
didn't pay, when the other companies didn't pay, the only ones willing to pay
Was
was
Wyatt.
Wyatt. New York State said, you know what? It's too much, too time consuming, it's too difficult, it's not worth our time and effort, so guess what?
Screw the people on the Ridge Road. Fill their wells,
And-
let them pay for their frickin' water. That's not right.
It wasn't, and that's why we went to court to try and stop New York State.
Mm-hmm.
And they basically said, you know what? You can fight us all you want, we have more money than the town does, and we will win. And they won. It wasn't, we didn't just decide
Lisa, I
to.
believe Brian was the only one, he was on the board previously, back in the 90s. He's the only one that would have
In
any
fact, if you look in the
first-hand knowledge
records,
of what happened back
if
then.
you look in the records.
So do I, because I
right?
came down here, and Julie knows, I was here for 2 weeks, me and Christine Lajway. We made a copy of every frickin' thing you have on file. We went from box to box to box. So I have everything. I know everything, I've read everything. And I'm sick of making myself sick to come here and fight. I am not paying no more. You can keep the $60 surcharge, I don't care, I'll pay that. Keep everything the way it was, but I am not paying an additional $113 on each property for the next 30 years. No. No. Not when it was forced upon us.
And it was
It'd be-
forced upon the town also by New York State. The town did not want to go out there and tell people, you've got to close your wells and you have to pay. for
Exactly,
water."
but you've been getting the money from us, we're paying for it. So it's not like you guys have any,
Because we don't have an option. It's New York State said you.
well, what I'm saying is we didn't ask for it.
And we didn't ask for the state to come after us either. They went after the town. They didn't go after these companies. They didn't go after anybody else. They went after the town because they knew that we wouldn't be able to afford to defend it. And that's why they chose to go after the town, not Polite or Harris. And the only reason they settled with Wyeth.
Why would they go after the town? You said you didn't own the property, you didn't own the property back then, so why would they go after you? You said the county owned it.
Because we were responsible for providing water to the citizens. If it's a town-wide, not a town area problem, the town had to deal with it. It's just if
Okay,
it's a
then
sewer.
then it's your fault that there was illegal dumping that contaminated our wells, either way.
There
So it wasn't
was-
only the town, it was the county and everybody else, is what you're telling me.
What I'm saying is there was no illegal dumping at the dump. At the time the state went after the town, there was no illegal dumping at the landfill. The landfill, all the rules were followed at the landfill.
Then why are our wells closed?
Because the state said, guess what, we're changing the rules. You followed the rules then, but guess what? We're changing the rules now. So now it doesn't qualify, even though it's a closed landfill, it doesn't qualify anymore, and so we're gonna go after you, even though it was run according to state law at the time. New York State doesn't have to follow its own rules and laws. They don't, it's irrelevant.
We did ask, because that landfill is monitored, tested, I don't know how many wells there are, but some are tested.
Yeah, and we walk up there all the time, there's nothing tested.
Well, they do, well, they.
You gotta take the padlocks off and they're rusted onto the wells, so there's no way.
There's two entrances there.
They charge us to go
Charge us
there.
$12,000 a year to test them.
Well, you better walk up there and see what you're paying for.
Well,
They
okay.
make Al go up with them, and he goes with them, so.
One year they got 2, and another year they got 3.
Okay. And now, we were told, I never seen it in writing, after like 30 years, if there's no more contamination or no more, doesn't test positive for anything, that it's possible that people could drill their own wells. It's been, what, 20 maybe?
Yep.
So I don't know that to be true, but, okay, I was told that. Okay.
We're thinking, once this balances out,
I'm not paying it, plain and
Oh,
simple.
okay.
You can balance at whatever you want out, I am not paying it.
that the charge may go down or only be up a little.
May go
in total.
down, may go up. That's not an answer
No,
for
it's-
me.
Well, we're already telling you, you're gonna save, hopefully.
$60.
$200.
So that's $120 everything. But now I got a bill of $113 every 3 months and another bill of $113.
That's gonna change.
So that's $226 more every 3 months.
Once the system is totally in place, we'll know what our revenues are, and we'll be able to adjust the amounts accordingly. The engineer is estimating the amounts will go down, the EDU charges will go down.
I'm not waiting for that. What I'm telling you is, I am not paying any more. I paid out all I'm gonna pay you for this charge. If you wanna change it, because it used to be just the landfill, it's totally separate water. But now all of a sudden, we're not just landfill anymore, we're part of the whole big, no. We were up by ourselves before, we shouldn't be charged that. We're pre-existing, and it's something that was brought upon us. We didn't ask for it. We are not paying anymore.
Well, under the new system that we're installing, you should get better quality of water.
No.
Well, we're paying big bucks to get better quality of water. A couple $1 million or more. And you should certainly have better pressure. And over the years, you've had problems, pressure problems up there.
All kinds of problems, but you can't even drink the damn water, Larry, and you know it.
What's this?
You can't even drink the damn water. We gotta buy bottled water to drink.
But that's what we're hoping to eliminate with the new townwide
Oh, let's
system.
eliminate that too. We're paying for water that we can't drink, so we gotta go buy water that we can. That doesn't make any sense to us. It really doesn't, and I've just about had enough. 20 years is just about enough.
So part of this is going towards to getting you drinkable water, soft.
So I'm supposed to wait 30 years and pay you more money just for a possibility of it might...
No, it will be.
Oh, yeah,
drinkable
okay,
water.
yeah.
They're
Yeah.
putting in a new filtration plant in the village where we buy our water from.
Okay.
There is a new filtration plant going in.
I don't care about any of that. I really don't. I'm telling you, I am not paying that charge. So it's something that you guys better look into for the Ridge Road. Anybody have any comments?
I think in good faith that we decided to hopefully do away with that $60 quarterly would help.
Leave the $60 quarterly alone on the Ridge Road and stop charging us the other charge. We were all by ourselves for the landfill to begin with. Now you added us to the group. We were our own separate group. Am I correct?
The reason we combined
Thank you.
all of, there was 4 or 5 different water districts.
Exactly, we were on our own,
I understand that. We combined them.
so that we would pay. Again, pay some more.
Everybody would pay for the improvements.
I'm not paying for any improvements.
Okay, well, how do we fix your water line going to your house if it breaks on the Ridge Road?
I pay you $60 every quarter, $120 every quarter, for my 2 homes. And I've been paying it for 20 years.
Okay, I understand. I will be checking with the engineers and our attorney as far as, somebody doesn't pay their bills.
It's ridiculous.
No, I can't tell you not to pay your bill, I can't tell you to pay your bill.
I just find it to be ridiculous. How would you guys feel if it was brought upon you? And then all of a sudden you get smacked in the face 20 years later and you say, now we're gonna charge you $226 more every 3 months. Pay this now. Can't drink the damn water, but here, go ahead, pay some more.
That was the object of it, or one of the objects of the whole project is to get better quality of water.
Well, I haven't seen it.
No, you haven't, because the plant is not completed.
Exactly, and we're paying for it already. And I'm not paying for 30 years.
Okay. Understand.
Plain and simple.
Okay, I understand. Okay. Anybody else have any questions for
No, I
Lisa?
would suggest you put this all in writing, so we can have our attorney look at it. Make it something.
I'll
that's
put it in
more
writing and I'll
structured.
get everybody on the road to sign it.
Just make it more structured than just come here and talk about it, so that way we can.
I've
have our
tried
attorney-
over the
I know,
years.
I've been here. I've been
But
here when you were
it's just
before.
it's getting monotonous.
I just have to tell you though, that if you don't pay it, it's gonna go on your taxes. There's,
See?
you have no choice.
See? Oh, just don't pay it, we'll just take your fucking property.
No.
That's ridiculous.
I'm saying that's what's gonna happen. I'm trying to forewarn you that that's gonna happen. And you can, you can feel that way about it, but that's the reality of how it's gonna work.
We've had people in the past year or two that didn't pay their ADUs. That's, I think by November, is it, Julie? We have to turn it over to the county. And the county reimburses us, and they get reimbursed through taxes.
It's ridiculous. But what I'm telling you is not everybody's in the same predicament as what we are on the Ridge Road.
And I understand that.
That's all I'm trying to get across, is that we have been burdened with this problem. And we just keep getting more and more burdened with it and keep paying more and more. We shouldn't have to pay, as far as I'm concerned, we shouldn't even be paying for any water. We didn't have to. Our wells were perfectly fine till they got contaminated. Why should we have to pay for somebody else doing that to our own properties? That's what I'm trying to get across. You wouldn't like it if it was your property and they came in and closed your wells and said you're gonna start paying. And you can't put a well on your property and you can't do this and you're gonna pay that. That's not right. That's not right to us. We are taxpayers. I've never been late on my taxes. Everything's been paid. I paid the damn water bills even though I didn't want to pay them because they were charging me way too much. And you know that too. You went back and looked into it and they way overcharged me for years and I got money back on that. That's what I'm saying. Nothing's right.
Any other questions? Okay. I know your concerns, I share your concerns, and we will be looking into the possible ramifications of somebody not paying their bills, or,
Well, why don't you look into, why are you gonna look into, well, if she doesn't pay her bill, well, we'll just take her house. Why don't you look into, what can we do for these people? What can we do for them? Now, what you're telling me, Larry, is you're gonna look into it, well, what happens if she doesn't pay her bill? We're gonna throw it in her taxes and we're gonna take her home. What you should be telling me, Larry, is that we're gonna look into the Ridge Road and we're gonna see if we can possibly get something done for you guys for a change. Instead of just keep throwing more money out the door.
well, I think that original order was the DEC, am I correct, Brian?
DEC consent order, yes.
Okay.
We had absolutely no say in the matter. The Department of Environmental Conservation, which is New York State. they
I
came-
understand that, but now the town took over. The town is now who we pay for our water.
There's still, the DEC is still having.
I know, that we can't put our wells there, I understand that. But it's the town that keeps imposing these charges to us.
Because we are responsible for maintaining the system and providing the water now. That's our obligation.
I have no problem with the way it was. No problem with the way it was. I'll continue paying the $60 every quarter for both my properties. But I don't feel that we should be charged this charge. The village isn't doing it to pre-existing customers. Why is the town doing it to us?
The village is its own separate water system.
I understand that, but you're not getting across what I'm telling you. The village isn't doing it, so why should the town?
The village includes it in its water rates.
They raised the water rates, they did.
They raised their water rates very little. I understand that. They did, but not at the rate that what you're charging us every quarter.
Because we have to pay, if there's a break in the village water line inside the village uses the money from their water system fund to fix that
That's what
line.
that $60 is I've been paying for 20 years.
But now with the new system providing better water, better pressure, better firefighting facilities, and 2 water tanks, so if there is a problem with one tank, you're still gonna have pressure even with the power being out. The chlorination, there's been problems with the chlorination, and hopefully that will be gone also. All these things, we're gonna have to pay for. If there's a break or something needs to be fixed.
Doesn't matter, we
that's
had
why
our
we have
own
to-
fund, we had our own fund for the Ridge Road.
And it didn't, and it never covered the expenses.
Oh, come on.
No.
Cut down the fuel credits.
Go back and look and see how much you charge people for water. When Wyeth paid for water for 10 years for all these customers, and it ran out in less than 3.
Wyeth contributed
Yeah,
an
okay.
amount.
So take that 7 years worth of water that they gave you and add it to your bill.
They contributed an arbitrary amount.
Yes?
It wasn't good for 1 year or 10 years. They just contributed arbitrary dollar amount.
Exactly. I have it all in
That's all
paper.
they did. They didn't say they were gonna cover it for 10 years. or-
It does say that. Up to 10 years.
Okay, up to, but they contributed $1 amount. That was it. They didn't keep paying each year or anything.
Okay, you take the people go around and ask everybody what their water bills are. And you
But-
divide that for the whole year. And you see if it comes up to anywhere as close of what Wyeth gave you for our water for 10. It doesn't.
They just gave what they felt like.
Right, exactly. And you guys just charge what you felt like charging.
We charged what we felt would cover the expenses of the system, and guess what? They didn't. We're actually in a hole as far as that Ridge Road water system,
Why?
because we're taking in less than what it costs us to maintain it.
That pumping station down the road is very, very expensive to maintain.
But that shouldn't be brought upon us.
Then again, hopefully that station will not be used, we'll have proper, that's a boosting station, am I correct?
Right.
It boosts the water pressure, because you're going uphill from there up to your place. With the towers, the new towers are so much higher, we're not gonna use that station they don't expect to use that to boost the water pressure. The water pressure will come from the towers now, so we will not have more expense on that pumping station like we've had in the past.
Good?
They've
Keep
had
us
some-
at our $60.
We've had some expensive breakdowns in that pumping station.
I don't feel I should have to pay for somebody else's water lines to be put in down in 11 and that. It's not fair to us. So if you want to look into something, look into seeing how you can help us on the Ridge Road for a change. I'm not asking you for everybody. I'm asking you to help the Ridge Road. We don't ever get any help. We just get more money thrown at us. Pay this, pay this, pay this. That's what I'm asking. I don't want to pay that charge, and I don't feel that we should have to. Enough said. I'll get it in writing, and I'll talk to the 22 people on the road.
Thank you.
Take care. Could we take this tobacco-free, yeah, let's do that one first, and get it off the table, so to speak. Could I have a motion to support this letter of camera salon, please? Okay. The statement of support to raise the minimum wage from 18 to 21 years of age for tobacco sales, basically what it is. You got a copy of that?
It's just a letter of
It's in your
support.
packet.
Larry?
Yeah, you were the
It's
only
just a
one.
letter of support for us to,
Yeah. Yes.
We support.
you want a motion?
Yeah, please.
I'll
Thank
make a
you.
motion to support that letter.
I'll second it.
Okay, any questions, concerns? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, we need to fill that out.
I don't have one. You were the only one with that letter, she said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just put one in yours.
Yours, yeah. But if you want to give it to me, I can take care of it.
Here's the card you have to her.
Okay.
If you give me that back later.
I have a card.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I think we should support tobacco-free parks and stuff, so.
I know, we did a real thorough one of these not that long ago. I forget who did the presentation.
And,
Yeah.
we can look into some
Yeah,
signs
that too.
between with Alan and Brian as far as putting up at the park. I got no problem with that.
She's got them.
Yeah, she said to call
Support,
her.
she'll give you the signs.
Yeah. Um, I'd like a motion to approve the June 13th regular board meeting.
Also, no.
I'll second that.
Is there any questions on June 13th, 2017 board minutes? If not, those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. I also like a motion to approve the minutes of July 5th, which is a special meeting that we held.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the July 5th special meeting.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second for the July 5th meeting. Any questions or concerns? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's also carried.
Larry, regarding that meeting, we received the minutes, or the statement back from Favreau,
Yes,
telling us what our actions should not be.
yes,
Has there been any feedback from?
not a word. I have not heard a word from this whole. Steve asked me the same question on the way in. Nobody's heard a word that I know of, okay? Okay. I'd like a motion to approve the town clerk's monthly report.
I so move.
Thank you, John, have a second.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions on the town clerk's monthly report? Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. You have your zoning board of appeals minutes, please read them. Very interesting. They are approved by those boards. There's two sets of those. One is for June 6th, and the other June 15th, meeting of the zoning boards of appeals. You have your dog control officer report. That's restricted for information. What?
There was another one.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
two.
too.
There was one on the table tonight as well as one in your packet. One, I believe, was for June and the other was May. May and June both.
It was the May, which had to do with 2 eagles.
The what?
I think
Oh,
it's-
I assume she meant beagles,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I thought.
Yes, I read that. I didn't see too many eagles around.
No.
Okay. The next letter from the Association of Towns pertaining to the volunteer firefighters enhanced cancer disability benefits. I don't know that any action needs to be taken. This is something that the state assembly and senate will have to iron out, as far as I know. I didn't get nothing else other than that from that. Did you read that, Brian?
Yeah, it's just, they
It's
want a
certainly-
resolution
I have no problem
against
with
it,
it.
basically. They're asking us
Yes.
to oppose it
Yes.
because there's no funding for it.
You have your equalization rate from the Department of Taxation, State Department, Taxation and Finance. We are at 100% of our assessed value rate, equalization rate, as we should be, and all towns in the county are.
I'd like to thank our assessing, Tim and Martine.
Yes.
Do an excellent job.
Okay.
Excellent.
The next one is the letter that we got from our attorney pertaining to an issue that we have with the golf course update. If there's any questions, get back to us. Everybody read the letter, I'm assuming? Okay. Strictly for information, no action needs to be taken on that. This was a letter from the town of Champlain, going to our contractor, Cassell, sharing some of our concerns. I think this was done by everybody before it was sent out to them, with the blessing of our attorney. Okay. we need to discuss water and sewer districts and service charge. That's what I was referring to, Lisa. Julie, you might have some information how they varied from district to district. I believe, go ahead, one was
Yeah.
$60 and one was even more.
Well, originally there was 5 districts, and each district, well, 2 districts had the same service charge, but like Ridge Road and Route 11, 276 was 35. Route 11 is a $100 service charge. Landfill and Perry Mills are both $60. But it was a recommendation, because we are now all one consolidated district, that we do not have a service charge anymore.
EDU charge will cover that.
Yes.
Am I correct? Okay.
But we do have to keep the service charges on the sewer customers.
Yes, this is just water, not sewer, nothing to do with the sewer.
But if, for instance, if they are charged $60 in that area for, because the $60 was for both water and sewer, so
Okay.
then it would be half of that for just the sewer charge. So they would be charged $30 instead of 60.
Ridge Road,
Ridge
Road
Road
is
would
no
be
sewer.
60.
Yeah,
no.
Yeah.
Landfill, Ridge Road District has no.
No sewer.
Ridge Road does. Landfill does not have sewer. Okay, am I correct? Ridge
yeah,
Road is
landfill, there's no sewer.
Ridge Road is,
Or Perry Mills.
right near the Route 11 there, the 3-4 places there, the businesses,
So
okay?
it would be a $60 per quarter charge eliminated.
For water, for.
Right, just for water, but for
yes.
like, well, I'm using for example, the landfill district. That $60 per quarter service charge will be eliminated.
Yes,
Yes.
so they'll only be charged for their water usage, and then, of course, the EDU charge every quarter.
What, approximately what are the next bills to go out? Do you know that?
Well, the water and sewer bills were supposed to go out till tomorrow, but I gotta make all these changes, and we've got a lot of new customers.
Can you
So
put
they
a-
should be out this week,
Can
so,
you put a note in those that charge will be reduced?
yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Which is good news. I mean, I tried to explain that. It's over half our ADU charge, but whatever. So I guess, does everybody understand what we're doing? We're reducing the present quarterly charges for the water districts only, not the sewer. Okay? Is there any questions or concerns?
We should make a motion to that effect, right?
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So there's no longer a service charge for
On the
any,
water.
yeah.
Yes. Okay. Do I have a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Is there any questions, any concerns, any? If not, all those in favor? Opposed? That's carried.
So now it's gonna be all one, because right now we have landfill, Perry Mills,
Yes.
and so on. So now it's all Champlain Consolidated Water District.
Yes.
So no one will be charged service charge on water.
Right.
To see what was happening is we were getting all these new customers from the village, but I don't know how I mean, I didn't contact the village and ask them, but they were putting the customers in different districts, which we don't know how they came up with what district to put them in, but some districts get charged more than others, so it wasn't really fair
No,
to
I
the
think
customers,
it's
so
fair.
that's why we need to do away with the charge.
That's part of consolidation in my mind.
Yeah. So now we're gonna create, when I contact BAS tomorrow, we're gonna do all one district, and then we won't have the service charges on the sewer customers.
The water.
Water.
No, service charge on the sewer customers.
I thought you said you wouldn't have service
No,
charge.
maybe it did.
Well,
I know what I
we
have
know what
to.
you were saying, but it was just because it's on camera.
Did we
Okay.
vote on that? We did.
Well, we got a motion in a second, but I don't
Okay.
think he did a roll call.
Any other questions? Eliminate quarterly water charge only, not the sewer. All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Carried.
And also, you have to, Hudson Headwaters, you have to revisit, or no, you have to start charging 17 EUs on Hudson Headwaters.
Yes.
And it was recommended by the engineers that we revisit it in 6 months, just based on the water charges, to see if that has to change, if that has to go down or up or whatever.
So, because now they'll be on a meter,
and we'll have a good handle on exactly what's going on there. And after 6 months, we'll just have a meeting and review it, and there'll be several we're gonna have to review, but
Could be higher. Could be higher.
Yeah, it could be higher.
Yeah. I'm just saying, that's a good.
And not only that, the first 3 or 4 months, they may not do as much business they are 2 years from now. Well, anyways, need a motion to approve the 17 EDUs for Hudson Headwater
Accept the recommendation.
engineers.
Well,
I'll make that.
the reason why it was changing too is because I think it was a half EDU, they were getting charged because it was only a vacant land.
Yes.
And now the building's there, so. that's
They're in an
why we changed
operation.
it.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's carried. Alan, what you got for us? Superintendent of Highways report.
Well, we paid the salt shed today. I got that floor done. Now they can, nothing stops them from putting up the roof. They told me now it's gonna be the 8th of August before they put it up.
Well, the manufacturer is holding it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Am I correct? That's coming quick.
And I wanna pave Eden Lane. I spoke to this guy today when we got done. He's gonna come back maybe Friday. We're gonna go look at it. I'm gonna show him a couple other roads. Then I wanna pave, they're all short roads. Eden Lane's one of them. I wanna pave South Street. I wanna pave the other end, the south end of Church Street.
They're not done?
Yeah, all South Street, so if everything goes good, and if I got money left over, I will pave that Haverhill by golf course.
Am I correct, though, South Street is not ready to be paved because they're not done?
No, I know it, I gotta wait till they get done.
Okay. They're supposed to
So
be.
isn't the end of Church Street, but Eden Lane, I think I can pave.
Yes. Supposedly, today's schedule, they're supposed to be done by the end of the month, but I would count on that. Okay? But if the blacktop contractor is here and you want to do Eden Lane,
Well, that's just it, he's right here, and you
Yes.
know.
I'd say go for it. It's my opinion.
So we're gonna do Eden Lane, South Street and Church Street on the south end. And what else?
That's a very short section.
If everything goes good and there's money left over in my budget, I will do the golf course, I will do
Hayford.
Hayford.
Alan, Church Street, just a short section,
Just a short section from South Street to go to Route 11.
400 or 500 feet, I mean, whatever
Yeah.
it is. Okay, that shouldn't be too expensive.
No, but these streets are beat up, you know, you gotta start off by putting that, you gotta start off by putting one coat to straighten them out, like South Street there, that street's all
I understand.
tough shape.
Okay.
Eden Lane hasn't been paved since '78.
Yeah, that's when they
That
put it
doesn't
in.
have a
That's
lot
what they
of,
put it in, it hasn't been, never touched.
there's no through traffic there, so
No.
you pave that, that should last for years.
So Alan, you got a sense of when they're gonna start paving on the recreation trail on the
No.
golf course road?
No, they haven't told me yet.
Geez, it looks like they got it pretty well prepped there.
Yeah.
They're all done on Elm Street, I believe. Maybe. Looks good.
Yeah.
I noticed, second time around mowing roadsides now, I believe.
Yep.
Yes, Clark.
This is completely off any conversation I've had with anybody, so don't, this is not coming back from the village. Okay? When I'm down at the meeting house across the street, every time I look over and see the kids occasionally smoking in the park, there's a basketball surface there, and there's always this much water right in the middle. How expensive or how much work would it be to have somebody put some blacktop in there, break it up, roll it? Is that something that the town can talk with the village about? Or should I keep my mouth shut and say they don't know?
Yeah, I mean, this guy here paved Bears Mills Park.
Yeah.
He paved the basketball court there. I can speak to him, you know, I can ask him to take a look at that. I said, I noticed that myself.
Yeah,
me too.
It's
Yeah, right in the center. So that's-
Right in the center of it.
If he
It's
could,
great in the
if he
wintertime,
could go in
when
there
you
and
have ice out.
put a shim coat right through that.
Yeah,
You don't think
just
it's
the middle maybe, I
Yeah,
don't know.
put a shim coat right through it. It's more work to move the machine there than it is to do the work.
And I don't know how much much it costs and how you pay for it, you know.
I'll mention it to him.
Yeah, get a number, that's a good starting point.
Okay, great.
I'll mention it to him next time.
I'll drop the
Be here Friday.
information in the village that I talked about. I wanna fix it.
Anything else, Alan?
No.
Julie, you got some,
Where I got the water district, want to do the disbursement?
well, let's pay our bills first.
Sure.
You got your abstract for, we need to approve the monthly bills.
Let's see.
When you're looking at it,
Some of that.
I don't know where.
That one, yes. The other one, it's on that.
there's a $37,000 bill there for auto insurance. Is that for?
Where are you?
It's about the fifth one down,
Show me the
Shoreline Agency.
liability.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's more than just the autos.
Yeah, that's, if I'm correct now, disability and the comp on our employees and our fire insurance on the buildings is due by August 1st, so I'm assuming that's part of it.
That's a big number. Is that something that we put out to bid once in a while and just go with the local rates?
You can bid it out, but we haven't. We've always stayed with the local people and made darn sure they're competitive. Okay?
I don't even know the people who run that business. So I don't know.
Okay.
Clark, I just look at it, it's the general liability, it's all the renewals. General liability, inland marine, public officials, umbrella, business auto, commercial, property, and general liability.
Okay,
So it's,
it's a big
and New York
package.
fire fee.
It's a big package. That's
It's
a
all-
big chunk of money.
Yes, it's once a year.
Oh, for that much insurance, though, you know, we didn't bid that out. She came here one time, actually, we had two. Remember that, Larry? We had somebody come here and explain it, but with the insurances the way they are here, the one that we have now explained to us one time that it covers a multitude of things. If you bid it out, somebody's gonna bid this thing, but it's not gonna have all these little, one-shot items into it. And we had a big discussion. Remember they came here one time, we had a big discussion about that.
I can say we've had decent luck, good luck with show vans.
Okay.
Okay?
But when I was on the village one time, we bid it out, and we only kept one for a year, because it sounded like the same thing that we actually had, but it wasn't.
Okay.
It's only interpretation, of course, you know that.
Well, I agree with you, it's a large figure once a year. Is there any other questions, any of the bills? That one bill is like way over half of the total bills for the month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just jump right on that.
Going down under John Triller, it got work shirts for highway, $124.
John went, I don't know, Montreal, someplace up there, and he saw these shirts, you know, like we wear, these green and orange shirts. So he decided to pick a bunch of them up, and he brought them here. I still got them, they're still in the box in my desk. And they were in Jane's room for about 2 months. So he decided to bring them in my office, and I asked him, we were gonna pay for them, us guys, and Jane paid for them.
Okay, so their work shirt, it's,
Yeah, for the highway.
Reflective vests is what they are,
Reflective.
reflective shirts.
but,
They're sitting on next to Al's desk if you want there.
okay.
Yeah, I can show them to you when you come
Okay,
in.
but I mean, isn't it unusual for,
Yeah, it is. And John picked him up. He told me about it a few days later, and I didn't know what he was talking about, but then I brought him to Jane, and they sat in her office, I bet you, for 2 months.
Okay. Any other questions, any of the bills? Did I have a motion second, did I? Not yet.
I make a motion, we pay the monthly bills.
Thank you, John.
I'll second that.
Thank you. Any questions on any of the bills? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Go ahead, Julie.
Water District number 6 disbursement approval number 36. Cassell, the original amount was $47,147.46, but we take off $18,000 for the liquidated damages. So their balance is $29,147.46. Bernier Carr, $31,227.22. LH LaPlante, $6,944.50. Atlantic Testing, $1,125. Luck Brothers, $101,445.09. And the Village of Champlain, $6,198.52.
Most of these bills are pertaining to the water plant, okay?
And of course, that 18,000,
Yes.
minus the liquidation thing there, because now we're just taking money away from them, not giving it to them. And there was a big discussion about that today, a lot of discussion, right? And they're not too happy.
Yeah.
It would surprise me if he was surprised that we are where we are, though. Did he act like he was surprised?
No, he chased Larry in his office after the meeting.
Well, okay. Explain it later. Okay, so-
No, I'm just saying that
No, I don't-
we're talking about it in public forum, and it
Yes.
would make sense to give a little explanation of
I
what's
agree.
going on, because there's a lot of
I-
people that are
You
upset
wanna know
about.
how, you looked at me, how I came about that?
No, I wanted to know his reaction in general to the fact that he's being
Yes.
docked $1,800 a
He looked
day.
at me, meaning that I probably instigated that.
Okay,
I explained to him that was a board decision,
right,
our attorney's decision, and our engineer's decision. It was not my decision alone by any stretch of the
you
imagination.
shouldn't take the heat of all of it.
Pardon?
You should not take all the heat for that.
He's
Well,
the
no,
one
I'm
that's
not,
gonna sign the
but I
letter.
explained that to him.
Yeah.
And he understood that. He also understood that he needs to go through the engineers with problems, not through my office,
Right.
okay? Because some have been coming to my office. And he knows that. He knows that his actual contact is with the engineers. He knows that. Am I correct?
Yeah.
When I tried to explain that as best I could today?
The engineers explained to him the things that he had failed to do on a timely manner, and that was the end result, is what you see there.
And there was all kinds of reasons and excuses,
Well,
which is okay, I understand.
pages.
I didn't expect him to take it lightly, or taking it laying down, so to speak. I expected him to question it.
I mean, I started that dialogue, and I probably shouldn't have, because it doesn't matter what his reaction is, it's just, I'm making sure that we're all taking equal responsibility for that decision.
I wanted him to know that was not one person's decision. That was the total board's consensus of the board, engineers, and the attorney.
Yep. I mean, everybody's on board with this. Our attorney, Matt, is on board with it, and of course, the engineers are on board with it, because these guys are completely out of control.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. And maybe this might snap them back in line, I don't know,
We voted on
but we
this.
have to do something.
Yeah. No,
Okay, I do have a motion in a second, am I correct?
no,
We don't?
nothing
Okay.
yet.
I'll second.
I need a motion to approve this bill that Julie read off to us.
Also move.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions? Concerns? I think we should have a roll call vote on this kind of money,
I agree.
okay? John?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Clark?
Aye.
And I for myself, thank you. Julie, you have anything else?
No?
Does anybody else have anything else to bring before the board?
I was wondering if we got in touch with the guy that was here last meeting about the cemetery and
No.
Creek.
John gave me his number.
Okay, is that?
I'm gonna call him, I'm gonna try to call him this week Thursday, because we mow the lawns on Friday.
Oh, okay.
I wanna meet up with him that Friday morning, and we go up there about 8 o'clock, we're generally in that neck of the woods. I wanna talk to him.
Yeah,
I mean, I want him to show us what he's gonna do.
yeah.
Because we looked at that last Friday, where all the tombstones are, and I'll tell you what, he's gonna earn that, to pull them up off that bank.
Yeah,
I mean, I wanna offer that if he needs any help,
yeah,
it's skid steer or something, we can go and give him a hand, take that out of there.
yeah.
The man alone ain't gonna pull that out of there.
Well, the thing is, Alan thought maybe we'd send some of our boys down to at least get them up on the bank and place them where they're gonna have to be repaired, get them lined up, maybe with the bases. And we explained to Steve what he said about putting them back together.
Well, I had a guy last year, the guy that puts up our guardrails, he takes care of a cemetery, he's from, I don't know, mid-state anyways. And I asked him, I says, some of these broken tombstones, I'd like to fix them, you know, sometimes it's just the top that broke.
Right.
And he kinda laughed at me, he says, you won't believe how they work. He says, if you use that black Gorilla Glue, the real black stuff,
Yeah.
clean the tops, and clean the other piece, and put it on thick, and just hold it there, put it together. But you're gonna have to hold it,
Wow.
so I don't know.
Yeah, they built a little frame around it to hold it while it
Yeah.
sets. And they take it off. It does work good, that we've used it in St.
But
Joseph's
that
Cemetery.
cemetery up there is the whole tombstone that's over the bank. I'm gonna offer him some help to pull them out of there. There's no way a man can grab out and walk up that bank and pull it, get it. There's no
They're
way.
heavy. They're-
I mean, he's gonna have some equipment to get that up there.
Yeah, we don't want anybody to get hurt over there.
Well, that's where you have the machinery to lift
That's why I
it.
wanna offer to him, you know, the brush to be cut there. I take care of cutting the brush, get that out of there for him.
Would support that.
I wanna see how he,
Yes.
I wanna see how he wants to do this.
Okay.
Very nice guy.
No problem.
Do you think he might be interested in a shut cemetery?
Well, I'm gonna start off with this one, and then I'll mention that one later.
Yeah, because, you know, you brought that up too.
Yeah.
It's basically the same problem.
Same thing.
Yep. Oh, I can see these cemeteries gonna be a problem in the future, so.
Okay. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
I so moved.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? If you opposed, I want to know why.
We did enough
Thank you.
meetings for today.
Thank you.
Let me turn the camera on.
Julia. If possible, that's my